We made it. I would just like to reintroduce myself. I'm Frankie Nicole, and I read tarot. I'm also a avid studier of psychology, and I do massage healing work. So I am restarting my YouTube channel because I took a break for a while to focus on healing everybody else and doing everyone else's work, and now it's time for me to show my skill set. So on the eve of the Leo new moon, which encourages us to show our stuff, our skill sets, and be the passionate, fiery, self-loving, believing individuals that they are, and a fellow fire sign myself. I'm inspired, and I was told by my guides to restart my channel because I have information that people need, no matter how private I'd like to be, which I'd still like to be after this. However, it's important to share the information that you get, especially if it could help people. And I am in the business of helping people. So we are mid-heat wave. It's reached finally the West Coast here in Seattle. There's a few places around the world that's on fire, and this is fire season. However, Leo season is definitely fiery because Leo represents the sun, and it is a fixed fire sign. And a lot of times these fires start during, this season, and they're fairly hard to contain. Sometimes they start in earlier seasons, and then they're even harder to contain because if they get attached to Leo season, they can, be propelled by the energy. And I think the best part about this world, even with all the crazy stuff that goes on, is that there's always signs and symbols that you can pick up from around you. It's everywhere. Everywhere is telling you a message. Now, you can choose to believe, but why would you be here? Why wouldn't you be here if you didn't believe? Why would you be here? You would. I feel like so many people, they don't want to wake up, and that's okay. But the rest of us have been waiting for you guys to wake up because, I don't know, we don't want to see the planet burn down. And like today, we had a very, very big referendum passed, or it was like a bill. I think it still has to go through another part of the United States government, which is always a struggle bus because for certain reasons, we know. I'm not going to go into all that because that's not what this channel is about. However, I am going to tap into the energy with my cards. And also, we did have a fiery explosion of oxygen and it wasn't gasoline because that would be a bigger, it was like another, it wasn't kerosene, it was like another form of flammable liquid. And there's some pretty intense videos online of the little canisters just psh, psh. And I did have a thought about things that are, compacted air earlier, and I was like, why am I thinking about that? Now I know. It's funny because everybody has an intuitive guidance, but not everybody is connected into it. And the more you are connected, the more you will really pick up. And a lot of us are really not excited to hear that information. Just like a lot of us are not interested in seeing ghosts. And children, they really don't know. They're like, oh, okay. So a lot of times children will see ghosts and they will communicate with them. And, you know, it's like part of our brain decides to not acknowledge things that we see. There's a very intense denial mechanism. And I have yet to figure out exactly why that is, beyond the fact that this world that we live in is utterly terrifying, and we are utterly terrified to live within it. And so we limit our perceptibility as not to overwhelm the entire senses and, you know, be debilitated. Because, you know, going through a spiritual awakening is not easy. And a lot of people choose not to do it because they're not here for that. And it's interesting because I thought everybody would be here to help raise the collective vibration of the planet. And I think eventually some people will catch on and, you know, be part of everything. You know, once it becomes mainstream in a sense. But the trailblazers are the ones that are getting, like, you know, doing really a lot more hard work and changing the ideas and understandings of society. I had the King of Wands pop out, which is super Leo. I mean, I've had readers read it as Sagittarius, but I feel like, I don't know, it's very Leo. This could be Sag, you know, but it's the Leo new moon, so it's, you know, it's very auspicious that it popped out. Okay, so let's see, we have these two that popped out. Now, if I can get it, the glare not to be on there. He kind of flipped out and he was slightly in reverse, and then we had this one pop out in reverse. So I think that there is passion waiting to unfold, but there is a bit of hesitancy. These two just came off the bottom and just... So Wheel of Fortune is movement forward, and I love the back of this. And then we have the King of Swords reversed. Lots of reversed dudes, or masculine energy, because we're not going by gender. We are going by the energy, and I think that that's probably the wisest thing to go with when we do have to label people. I don't understand why labeling is so important for some people. I know why some people want to, because they have to live within a system of labels. However, most people, I believe, just want to be fluid in their existence and not have to say, oh, today I'm this and today I'm that, and you shall treat me as such. Because unfortunately we can't control other people, and we can't control how they what they say to us, but we can control our own behavior, and we can try to, you know, speak up and say, this is what I am, but in the end, you know, you can't make someone else do something. We know, we've seen. Oh, okay. So I did pull 2 oracle cards, and we have Divine Mother Manifests, and I feel like this is very highly fertile energy, and it's such a pretty card. Look at that. Look at that. It's the Rumi Oracle deck by Elena Fairchild. I got that. It's probably backwards. I got it after seeing it in another reader's video. The Cloak of Christ. There's many readers, but we all have different purposes and messages took me a while to figure that one out too, because I'm like, why do they need me? And then they're like, no, do it. And I'm like, I guess. The apathetic tarot reader. Isn't that great? Passionate. The cloak of Christ. And so we have, I feel like, protection for whatever you're manifesting right now. And that's so important because, you know, it's like not telling your whole story is sometimes a good thing. People like to say, oh, you're, you know, misdirecting or you're lying. Or do you not need to know all my business before I complete it because you might throw a wrench in my manifestation plan? I think so. I like to ask people's opinion on things, but I don't like to give them all the whole information because that's not their business. That's, you know, and I think it's important to be careful with what dreams and things you're speaking to some people, because some people can talk down and, you know, ruin the idea and the thought. From personal experience. Okay, so we have 7 of Swords and 8 of Swords reversed. And this is what I'm talking about. Not being so forthcoming with all of your plans. Not being forthcoming with all your plans. Tapping into, you know, your intuition rather than being out and, you know, speaking. And, you know, sometimes we ask people's opinions if we really trust them to give us the good opinions, but trusting yourself is the hardest part. We have the Lover's card. Now, this could be contracts, this could be love relationships, this could be, it's always a choice. There's a choice, and because we have to choose paths, right? And if we are, you know, making a choice to go down one direction, it does take everything else off the table in most aspects. There are some certain things, I mean, definitely people are all open to having multiple options, but I'm just saying that dilutes things. And makes your energy not as potent to where you're focused going. As a Sagittarius, I like to focus my energy, get my thing going. Okay. Lots of Swords, lots of mental energy. You know, like, we are in a fire season, but I think there is a lot of mental energy going on. We're going to have a Grand Trine conjunction. This is the energy for this next upcoming week span. You know, time is really fluid. It's kind of general energy. I don't like to try to bracket it because then, you know, people are like, oh, well, it didn't happen. And you're like, divine timing. Divine timing. So we have the Sun reversed, we have the 6 of Cups, we have the 4 of Swords, and we have the 2 of Swords, and we have the Princess of Wands. So, choices. There is choices to do, and it has something to do with your past, and something maybe from the past. You know, we experience a lot of karmic patterns where karmic patterns, and, you know, the wheel is the karmic wheel, and we choose to either recreate our karma. You know, we have a learned lesson, we do it again, or we choose a new path, and we are like, okay, well, that last shit did not work for me, and I am going to do something else. It's in relationships too. That's why when you come together with somebody and sometimes it just doesn't work out, it's because they're just still not in a mindset of accepting who you are. Even if you have chemistry, and even if there's other things, you have to really make sure that you are going on the right path, and then you prevent being with somebody that's wasting your time because you already know kind of where they are at. I mean, people won't be so upfront about it because nobody wants to say, well, I'm not healed yet, I haven't done this. You know, they don't even know that they're not healed. You have to see the pattern, and you have to understand, because people will tell you about themselves, but they won't tell you about themselves, you know? And so you see their pattern and you're like, oh, do I want to be a part of this, or do I want to, you know, go on and, you know, choose a different direction? There's choices on every sense, you know, like, you're not actually getting rejected. You are choosing a different pathway than somebody, and so it's a protection because you're being protected from whatever karma, whatever shit they're still dealing with. Now, I know people want to be in relationships, they want to connect with people, they, feel these bonds. Sometimes they're trauma bonds, sometimes they're lifelong bonds, sometimes you are just so blinded by your own stuff that you are just like, I'm just going to keep dating the same kind of people until I realize that that's not going to work out with anybody because there's still something going on inside of me. So I think part of that is choosing where you need to go next, like taking some time to heal, to rest, rejuvenate, to understand what you just went through with whatever this, this relationship is. Now, we have two people. They could be two parts of one person, or they could be a situation. But there's a storyline where there's moving on from things that were being thought about but not expressed. And that always creates, dissonance and hardship. And there is a choice, and there is a secret choice. There's a secret kind of, move that needs to be made. So resolving that move or what you want to do, you got to take some time to figure it out. And part of it could be, do it with what makes you the most happy, what's going to bring, positive energy into your life. And maybe you're reflecting on your past behaviors or the past or something. And then we have the Page of Wands. So we have some new information. We have new messages. We have an event, something happening. So there is a burden that I feel like needs to be let go to move forward. And part of healing is healing that burden and figuring out a truth about something so that you can move forward. All right. And with much success, with great success. I mean, this is the success card. This is like the Chariot. Let's go. Get in the car. Hiya, motherfucker. Yes, I swear. That's what it is. But yeah, something needs to be discovered. A truth needs to be seen so that the burden of whatever this choice has become will be lifted. Because, timing. Everything's got to be lining up and, but there is success and there is inspiration. It needs to be, there needs to be information, clarity, and then something can move forward. And then we have inspiration. Then we have movement forward. Okay, I'm going to do a few clarifiers, and then I don't want to make this first video too long. I did explain myself a little bit, but why do we got to explain ourselves, Just, I was gone, and now I'm back, and I'm feeling a lot healthier. Feeling a lot more sane and grounded. I think that helped. That's something, Not that you can't give good tarot readings if you are a little, off kilter, but the messages come in cloudier. So there's a man. He's a coming. This is my favorite man. Look at him. He's got the man symbol around his neck. I know. Masculinity and femininity are fluid, but some people are very, very in their gender and not fluid, and that's okay. We all can be who we are, and we don't have to be stuck in one specific idea, or we can, as long as we don't judge other people for it. Oh, a maze. Interesting. So there is a maze of getting somewhere, and I feel like that's what all of this decision and timeout and thoughts are about, the choice. It's like this person has to figure out how to get where they're trying to go, and you know, it's confusing. There's, you know, people, there's pit stops along the way. But there's something new on the horizon. I mean, new. A child, a birth, maybe, you know. Something new, definitely. Because children are fresh energy, newness. And some romance. Okay, well. We do have the Lovers card, so there could be a choice in love. Or a choice to go towards somebody. But it could also be work, because we have the Whip. And this is all about burdens. Being burdened. Oh, snap. Being burdened. Being beaten down and working really, really hard. My other deck has Toil and Labor. So nice. But we have the Star, which is supreme hope, fulfillment, wishes. So there's something coming in that is going to be very auspicious, and I already used that in this, but you know what? It's a great word. It's going to be very good for you, and you have to accept it, because sometimes we don't accept things because we don't feel like we're ready or that we're good enough or prepared, and sometimes we are correct. However, this is the Leo new moon, and this moon is all about showing your shit. Show off, show up, you know. It's very Leo. Shake that head, be sassy. I got my lion's mane going on right now. But yeah, it's important to show up for yourself, and it's important to believe in yourself, and it's important to understand that whatever you've been through, if you've gone through it and you've processed and you've learned, you are smart enough now. I think I was gonna say more smarter. Long day. You are smart enough, and you are in tune enough with your own intuition to trust yourself enough to make good decisions. And you'll know it's a good decision because you won't feel guilty after making it. I mean, maybe in a little bit we'll have some like, oh no, little, like, did I make the right decision? Because, we're not used to being always so like secure in ourselves, and that's when you need to tap back in, tune back in, be more like quiet, heal, talk through yourself, talk through what's going on, and then make the decision, make the important choice for yourself with you at the forefront. Obstacles and gifts. The obstacle is the choice, making a hard decision. Maybe you're afraid to hurt somebody's feelings. Maybe you're afraid to be alone. Maybe you are afraid to make the leap because you are not sure what's on the other side. Maybe you're worried about, is this the right decision for me? But knowing that on the other side of this, there is going to be a lot more abundance. Gifts is not just like, oh, here's a gift. It's, here is appreciation, here is better treatment, here is more money, here is respect, here is, just a connection with people that makes you feel so much better about your whole outlook. I mean, thinking about it in small terms and maybe negatively because you're afraid will prevent you from making the jump to what you need to go. So we have the Eternal Dance, which is the wheel, movement, path of least resistance. Let it go and let it flow. We have Goddess of Creation, which is like the Earth Mother, which is, transformation, creativity, and wholeness. And then we have Jewel Within a Teardrop, which is appreciation and spiritual and emotional connection. So connecting back in with yourself and your emotions and being able to be that creator that you know you are. Because the Leo new moon says, you can do this. Believe in yourself. Because if you don't do it, who else will? No one else. There's no other you. There's no one else but you. And your voice deserves to be heard, no matter how small. And I feel like a lot of us have become, comfortable and accepted that we just didn't have a voice. We didn't have anything to, be able to speak out against more powerful people or beings, because we've just been, from one kind of control to the next. And, voting sometimes doesn't always seem like it's giving you, like, the adequate support, especially with people trying to, suppress voting. And because powers don't want to give away power, they want to give the illusion of control by the masses. And we're not going to get into all of that. Maybe we'll get into a different video. But, yeah, so please take care of yourself and, believe that you can do this and manifest all the things that you dream and desire of, because even if they don't appear in the next week, divine timing says if you wait for the good things and believe, they will come.